Let's just get this out of the way, right now. Getting a piece of paper, a certification, isn't a golden ticket. It's not. Certs alone won't make you rich. Anyone telling you otherwise is selling something. But, and this is a big but, the right ones, combined with a real strategy, can absolutely fast-track you to a six-figure salary. It's not about just passing the test, it's about leveraging what that test proves you can do. It's the difference between having a driver's license and being a professional getaway driver. One just means you can legally operate a vehicle, the other means you have a very specific, very valuable, and very monetizable skill set, and I'm not just pulling this out of thin air. You look at the latest industry salary reports. You look at the summaries from places like DeepStrike. The data is screaming this at us. The gap between a certified professional and a non-certified one is real, but the gap between a certified professional and a strategic certified professional is a chasm. It's the difference between a comfortable salary and life-changing income. The numbers are there, showing that certain certs, when applied correctly, correlate with massive pay bumps, huge day rates for consulting, and access to the kinds of roles that are usually hidden behind years and years of corporate ladder climbing. So, here's the plan for this video. We're gonna break down the 10 certs that I see as the biggest money printers in the game right now. For each one, we're not just gonna talk about what it is. No, that's boring. We're gonna talk about what it proves to a client or an employer. Who it's actually for. Because not every cert is for every person. We'll look at the real salary signals, the ROI, the difficulty, and most importantly, the concrete tactics. The specific ways you can turn that piece of paper into a machine that generates actual tangible cash. This is the playbook. Let's get into it. Alright, first up, the big one, the Certified Information Systems Security Professional, CISSP. Think of this as the MBA of cybersecurity. It's less about being the person on the keyboard hacking into a server and more about being the person who designed the entire security program for the company. It proves you understand security from a holistic, management perspective. You're not just a technician, you're an architect and a strategist. This is the cert that tells executives you speak their language, risk, policy, and budget. It's broad, it covers 8 different domains, and it's a beast. So who is this for? This is for the person who wants to lead. Security architect, security manager, director of security, chief information security officer, the CISO. You're done being in the trenches and you want to be the general planning the battle. The salary reflects this. In the United States, you're looking at maybe $120,000 on the low end to well over $200,000 for senior roles. In the United Kingdom, that's easily £70,000 to $110,000 and beyond. It's a serious certification for serious career aspirations. And the paychecks match. But there's a catch, a big one. It's not for beginners. ISC2, the body that runs it, requires 5 years of cumulative paid full-time work experience in 2 or more of the 8 CISSP domains. You can't just walk in off the street, cram for a month and pass this thing. You need to have lived it. They want proof you haven't just read the books but have actually applied the concepts in a real-world business environment. This prerequisite is what gives the cert its weight. It's a filter that ensures only experienced professionals hold the title. So, how do you print money with it? Path 1 is the corporate ladder, supercharged. With a CISSP, you can leapfrog other candidates for those high-paying senior management and architect roles. It gets your resume past the HR filter and onto the hiring manager's desk. Path 2 is where it gets really interesting, consulting and advisory work. Once you have a CISSP, you have the credibility to go out on your own. You can charge thousands of dollars a day to advise companies on building their security programs, preparing for audits, developing their long-term security strategy. You become the expert they bring in when the stakes are high. Now, let's flip the script completely. From the boardroom to the command line, we're talking about the Offensive Security Certified Professional, the OSCP. If CISSP is the MBA, OSCP is your Special Forces training. No multiple choice, no theory. A 24-hour hands-on practical exam. They drop you into a virtual network of vulnerable machines. One job, hack your way through it. You either get root and capture flags, or you fail. Brutal, respected, proves one thing, you can hack. For the doers, the breakers, people who love the thrill of the hunt, aspiring penetration testers, red teamers, security researchers, companies hire you to think like an attacker and find weaknesses. Hiring managers love the hands-on proof, tired of paper tigers. OSCP holders can perform on day one. Contracting and day rate potential is massive. Companies pay a premium for skilled pen testers. Difficulty is legendary, not memorization, a mindset. Requires creativity, persistence, and chaining small vulns into a big compromise. Mantra, try harder. Hundreds of hours in the labs. Practice, fail, learn. Senior pen tester salary, $130K, $180K, US. Freelance day rate, $800, $1,100. Monetization paths. Path 1, high-end freelance pen testing. Path 2, bug bounty hunting with massive payouts. Path 3, training, build and sell courses. You can build and sell your own courses, teaching the next generation of hackers. Okay, let's swing back to the management track with a specific focus. Meet the CISM, the Certified Information Security Manager. This is the CISSP's cousin. CISSP is broad, cryptography, physical security. CISM is laser-focused on governance. It's about strategic alignment with business goals. Less about the how, more about the why and what. You prove you can build, manage, govern a corporate security program for the person who wants the driver's seat of security strategy. Security manager looking to become a director, or a director aspiring to be a CISO, this is your certification. Risk management, program development, incident management, leadership perspective. You answer to the board after a breach. You justify the security budget and show how security supports revenue. Pure play management cert, like CISSP, hefty experience requirement. ISACA, the governing body, 5 years required. Minimum 3 years in management, across at least 3 CISM practice areas. Not for rookies, this gives the cert credibility and marks holders as seasoned leaders. Salary reflects seniority, parity with CISSP, range $125,000 to over $200,000 in the United States, because you're competing for the exact same top-tier leadership positions. Monetization equals seniority and high-stakes decision-making. Path 1, direct route to the top. CISO, Vice President of Security, or Director roles. CSM is often a listed requirement for these jobs. It's your ticket to the executive suite. Path 2, high-fee consulting. Services like developing a corporate security governance framework, building an incident response program from scratch, acting as a virtual CISO for multiple smaller companies that can't afford a full-time executive. This virtual CISO role is a massive opportunity, letting you stack retainers and multiply your income. You can't have a conversation about tech in the 2020s without talking about the cloud, and you can't talk about securing the cloud without mentioning the CCSP, the Certified Cloud Security Professional. This is another cert from ISC², the same people behind the CISSP. Think of it as the CISSP, but rebuilt from the ground up specifically for cloud environments. AWS, Azure, Google Cloud. It proves you understand the unique security challenges of the cloud, data protection, identity management, securing infrastructure that you don't physically own. This certification is for security architects, engineers, managers who are working in or moving to cloud-first organizations. If your company is migrating its data centers to AWS or building new applications on Azure, someone needs to be the expert on how to do that securely. That person is the CCSP. It shows you can design and manage a secure cloud architecture, applying security principles in a highly dynamic and automated environment. It's one of the most in-demand specializations in the entire security field right now. There's a reason for that demand: the cloud premium. Professionals with specialized cloud security skills can command a significant salary bump over their on-premise counterparts. We're talking a 10 to 20% increase in many cases. The recommended background is solid cloud experience, and often, holding a CISSP first is a common path. The difficulty lies in its breadth: architectural concepts, data security, platform security, and legal risk across different cloud models. It's not just about one platform, it's about the universal principles of securing the cloud. So how do you turn this into cash? Path 1. Become a specialized cloud security architect or engineer within a large company. These roles are critical and pay extremely well, often in the $140,000 to $190,000 range. Path 2. Specialized consultancy. Build a business around cloud migration security. You become the expert companies hire for a 6-month, high-fee project. You can charge a massive premium for this expertise because the cost of getting it wrong is catastrophic for the client. Every business decision is a calculated risk, but in the digital world, how do you identify, assess, manage those risks? That's where the CRISC comes in, the Certified in Risk and Information Systems Control. This is another specialized cert from ISACA, the CISM people. But where CISM is about managing the security program, CRISC is about managing the risk. It proves you are an expert in identifying and managing IT risk to an enterprise and in implementing and maintaining the controls to mitigate that risk. This cert is for the analytical mind, the person who is good at connecting the dots, technical vulnerability, a business process, and the potential financial impact. It's for IT risk analysts, security consultants, and anyone working in governance, risk, and compliance, GRC. The demand for these skills is exploding, especially in finance, healthcare, and energy. These companies are legally required to manage their IT risk, and they need qualified people to do it. A CRISC certification is the clearest signal that you are that person. Like its ISACA siblings, it has an experience prerequisite, typically requiring 3 years of experience in IT risk management and information systems control. This ensures that CRISC holders are not just theorists but have practical, hands-on experience in the field. The value proposition is immense because you are directly connecting security activities to the language of the business, risk reduction, and financial loss avoidance. You're the one who can tell the board, if we don't spend $50,000 on this control, we have a 20% chance of a $2 million loss over the next year. That's a powerful conversation to lead. The monetization strategies are very clear. Path 1 is to specialize in GRC consultancy. You can build a practice helping companies navigate GDPR, HIPAA, PCI DSS. You become their guide to compliance, charging significant fees for your expertise. Path 2 is focused on high-value remediation projects. After a company has a security audit or a breach, they have a list of risks that need to be fixed. A CRISC-certified professional can come in, manage that entire remediation project, and ensure the controls are implemented effectively, billing at a premium project rate because the work is urgent and critical to the business. We talked about the cloud-agnostic CCSP, but sometimes specialization is where the real money is. Enter the provider-specific certifications, and the king of that jungle is the AWS Certified Security Specialty. This certification proves you are a deep expert in securing one specific, massive ecosystem: Amazon Web Services. It's not about general cloud theory, it's about knowing the ins and outs of IAM policies, security groups, guard duty, KMS, other AWS security tools. This is for the hands-on cloud engineer or security professional who lives and breathes AWS. You're the person who is building, deploying, securing applications on the world's biggest cloud platform. While CCSP shows you understand cloud security principles, this cert proves you can actually implement them today, using Amazon's tools. This is incredibly valuable to the thousands of companies that have gone all in on AWS. They don't want a theorist. They want an AWS security expert. The data backs this up. There's a cloud premium for these skills, plus a specialist premium. Potentially a 10-30% salary increase for holding a specialty cert versus a general one. The prerequisite is practical. Real, hands-on AWS experience. The exam is scenario-based and assumes console experience. You can't just read a book and pass this. You need to have built things and secured things in AWS. So how do you print money with this? Path 1. Platform-specific security consulting. Be the go-to expert for companies on AWS that aren't secure. Do a well-architected security review, fix IAM roles, configure logging and monitoring, and charge a high project fee. Path 2. Build and sell. Tooling or managed services. Develop Terraform modules for secure infrastructure deployment, or run a managed security service monitoring and responding to alerts for multiple AWS clients, creating a recurring revenue stream. Chapter 7. When a massive company gets hacked, I mean a front-page news, stock price dropping kind of hack. Who do they call? Often they call in a team of elite responders. Many of those responders will hold certifications from GIAC, the Global Information Assurance Certification. GIAC is the certification arm of the SANS Institute, widely regarded as the gold standard for hands-on, intensive cybersecurity training. These certs are hyper-specific, incredibly deep, and, very, very expensive to get. GIPEN, a deep dive into advanced pen testing techniques. GIAC, a respected foundational cert. GCIH proves you know what to do in the first 48 hours of a major breach. Each GAC cert maps to a specific, billable job function. The reputation of SANS training is so strong that just having a GAC cert signals top-tier practical training. These aren't entry-level pursuits. The training courses from SANS can cost upwards of $8,000 a pop. That's a massive investment, but the ROI is there. Companies see SANS GIAC and know you can solve their worst problems. This is for the practitioner who wants the absolute top of their technical game. Forensics, malware analysis, pen testing, incident response. The difficulty is high, the exams are proctored and tough, and the cost is a huge barrier to entry. The monetization path is directly tied to this elite status. Path 1, high-rate incident response. With a cert like the GCIH, you can get on retainer lists for major IR firms. When a breach happens, you get deployed. You bill at astronomical hourly rates, $300 an hour, $400 an hour, $500 an hour, because the client is bleeding money every second. Path 2, specialized high-rate engagements. With a GPEN, you're not doing standard web app tests, you're doing assumed breach scenarios, red team operations, social engineering campaigns, commanding project fees in the tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars. Chapter 8. In the world of business, there's a saying, what gets measured gets managed. In the world of cybersecurity, what gets audited gets fixed. And the gold standard certification for the people who do the auditing is the CISA, the Certified Information Systems Auditor. This is the third major cert from ISACA, and it's for a very specific type of professional. The CISA proves you have the expertise to audit, control, and provide assurance on an enterprise's information systems. You are the independent verifier. This certification is for the detail-oriented, process-driven individual. It's for IT auditors, compliance managers, and consultants. You're the person who comes in with a checklist based on a framework like COBIT, ISO 27001, and systematically tests a company's controls to see if they are actually doing what they say they're doing. It's not about hacking, it's about evidence, documentation, and process verification. It's a critical function in any large organization, especially public companies that have to answer to regulators, shareholders about their internal controls. Like the other ISACA certs, CISA requires 5 years of relevant experience, show calendar 5 years, in IS audit, control, or security. This experience requirement ensures that CISA holders have a real-world understanding of how businesses operate and how to effectively audit them. The salary for a CISA is strong, often in the $110,000 to $160,000 range, because the role is so fundamental to corporate governance and regulatory compliance. You are essential to the business's ability to operate legally and maintain trust with its customers and investors. The monetization strategy with a CISA is all about becoming a trusted advisor. Path 1 is building a consultancy focused on compliance and audit readiness. You can charge companies a significant fee to prepare them for their official audits, finding the gaps in their controls before the real auditors show up. This is incredibly valuable. Path 2 is to specialize in framework implementation. You can become an expert in a specific standard like ISO 27001, NIST, and manage the entire project for a company to become certified or compliant. These are long, complex projects that command six-figure consulting fees. You're not just finding problems, you're selling the solution. Chapter 9. Every expert was once a beginner. In offensive security, 2 certs come up as the starting blocks. CEH, the Certified Ethical Hacker from EC Council, Pen Test Plus from CompTIA. These are foundational certifications. They prove you understand the basic principles. Tools, methodologies of penetration testing. Often the first step after basic networking and security knowledge. CEH has faced criticism for being too multiple-choice focused, but CEH has massive name recognition with HR. Pentest Plus is newer, more hands-on, highly respected as a practical entry point. Neither will make you an elite hacker like the OSCP by itself. That's not their job. Their job is to get your foot in the door. They prove you've done the initial learning and are serious about offensive security. They signal to employers that you're ready for a junior pen testing role. Key strategy: don't stop here. Treat CEH or Pentest Plus as a stepping stone. Get the cert to land your first junior role. Then gain real-world experience to tackle the OSCP or a GIAC certification. They're part of a larger plan. Junior pentester salary can start around $70,000 to $95,000. That's an amazing starting point. How do you monetize these certs? Get paid to learn. Path 1. Land an entry-level consulting or junior pentester role. Use the job to soak up 2 years of experience. Path 2. Participate in bug bounty programs. You won't find million-dollar bugs right away, but you will find smaller ones. Earn hundreds or a few $1,000s while building skills and reputation. Use these certs to start the engine, not as the final destination. Chapter 10. If AWS is the agile, startup-friendly cloud, Microsoft Azure is the undisputed giant of the enterprise world. Nearly every Fortune 500 company uses Microsoft products in some capacity, and their push into the cloud with Azure has been monumental. This brings us to the AZ500, Microsoft Azure Security Technologies certification. Similar to the AWS cert, this proves you are a specialist in securing a specific massive platform. It shows you know how to implement security controls, protect data, and manage identity and access within the Microsoft Azure ecosystem. This certification is for the security engineers and architects who work in large Microsoft-centric enterprise environments. If your company runs on Office 365 Active Directory and is moving its servers to Azure, you need to be an expert in how to secure that entire stack. The AZ500 covers everything from securing virtual networks, securing databases, to managing threats with Microsoft Defender for Cloud. It's about demonstrating practical hands-on skill in the ecosystem where a huge portion of global business gets done. Like the AWS cert, the prerequisite is practical experience. You can't pass the AZ500 just by reading documentation. You need to have spent time in the Azure portal, configuring security settings and responding to alerts. The outcome is clear. You become an incredibly valuable asset to any large company that runs on Microsoft technology, which is, almost all of them. The salaries are very competitive, often matching or exceeding those for AWS specialists, in the $130,000 to $180,000 plus range, because the scale of these enterprise environments is so vast. The monetization paths are tailored to the enterprise client. Path 1 is to become a senior Azure security engineer or architect at a major corporation. Path 2 is to build a managed security services provider business focused exclusively on the Azure cloud, monitoring, incident response, for a monthly recurring fee. This allows you to build a scalable business by productizing your specialized expertise on this ubiquitous platform. So, look, we covered a lot of ground. 10 certs, 10 different ways to look at a career in cybersecurity. But if you take away only one thing, let it be this. The certification is the key, but it doesn't open the door on its own. The real formula, the thing that multiplies your earnings, is the cert, plus real-world experience, plus the ability to communicate the value of what you do. It's that combination of technical proof, practical application, and business sense that turns a piece of paper into a license to print money. You have to be able to connect your technical skill to a business problem. So what's your next move? Don't try to get all 10, that's insane. Pick a path. Look at the cheat sheet. If you want to be a leader, CISSP to CISM. If you want to be an elite technical expert, OSCP to GPEN. If the cloud is your future, pair the CCSP with a cloud specialty. AWS, Azure. Pick 2 that make sense, and map a specific monetization path for each. Am I going for the CISO role? Am I starting a vCISO consultancy? Am I going for a red team job? Am I building a freelance pen testing business? Be deliberate. All the data I talked about, the salary reports from the big industry players, the summaries from DeepStrike, are real. I've linked them down in the description so you can see the numbers for yourself. Don't just take my word for it. Do the work. Do the research. This isn't a get-rich-quick scheme. It's a blueprint for a high-impact, high-income career if you're willing to put in the effort. Thanks for watching. Do the thing. Subscribe, like, You know the drill. Now go build something.